Well, it's round. It doesn't have a face.
Well, the door faces north.
Phrases.
For more than 3 decades, Outlander fans have been holding on to one mystery that has never really been answered: Jamie's ghost from Season 1. It first popped up in Diana Gabaldon's original book all the way back in 1991, and even after 9 novels and 7 seasons of television, we still don't know why that moment happened or what it really meant. But with Season 8 being the final chapter of the Starz adaptation, the show no longer has the luxury of leaving that question hanging. Because Gabaldon hasn't yet finished her 10th and final book, the series has to take matters into its own hands. She's promised that her book will give fans the official explanation, but since that's not out yet, the show will have to craft an answer of its own. And honestly, if you look at how things are shaping up, it's not too hard to guess the path the TV series will take. When Season 7 wrapped, it had drawn most of its material from Gabaldon's 8th novel, Written in My Own Heart's Blood. That leaves Book 9, Go Tell the Bees That I Am Gone, to provide the main storyline for Season 8. There is still one more book coming after that, but since Gabaldon is still working on it, the TV adaptation has no choice but to conclude before she officially reveals the saga's end. So that means Season 8 will most likely pull heavily from the dramatic moments in Go Tell the Bees That I Am Gone, while also weaving in its own interpretation of the ghost mystery. And that's where Jamie's Season 1 apparition could finally come into play. Let's rewind a little. The ghost mystery was introduced more than 30 years ago, back when readers first cracked open the original Outlander novel. It's also one of the earliest strange moments adapted for the show. Before Claire ever traveled back through the stones, her husband, Frank Randall, spotted a man outside their window in Inverness. The figure was staring up at Claire with this haunting, almost longing expression, but when Frank tried to approach him, the man vanished. Later, Frank even sketched the figure's face, which turned out to look exactly like Jamie Fraser. At the time, Frank believed this mysterious Highlander was somehow responsible for taking Claire away from him, which, in a roundabout way, was true. But for readers and viewers, this moment raised bigger questions. Why was Jamie's ghost in the 20th century at all? And if Claire was destined to meet him in the past, why would his spirit show up decades later to watch her from afar? It was almost like a signal that Jamie's soul had been separated from hers at some point. The implication was pretty dark. Jamie would die in the past, Claire would return to the future, and his spirit would be left behind waiting for her. If they were meant to die together, you'd expect their souls to rest together too, not to see Jamie wandering alone, gazing at Claire from another lifetime. Gabaldon has always said her final book would give fans the answer, but since the show can't wait, it seems more and more likely that Season 8 will tie this mystery directly to Jamie's death. And yes, the final season may very well include Jamie's death, at least temporarily. Book 9 actually does kill him off, though not permanently, and the show seems poised to adapt that storyline. At the end of Season 7, Jamie resigned from the Continental Army, but we already know that won't last. The Revolutionary War is still coming to Fraser's Ridge, and Jamie will be pulled back into battle. In Go Tell the Bees That I Am Gone, he faces one particular battle in North Carolina where history itself records him as a casualty. In fact, Brianna finds a book written by Frank that lists Jamie as having died there. She even warns Jamie about it, but true to his character, he still chooses to fight. The heartbreaking part is that Jamie does in fact fall in that battle. As far as anyone knows, he really dies. But Claire, ever determined and unwilling to lose him, makes her way up into the mountains, finds his lifeless body, and uses her skills to bring him back. This is one of those moments that will likely be emphasized in Season 8 because it gives the show a way to not only dramatize Jamie's near death, but also expand on Claire's abilities. The series has mostly downplayed Claire's more mystical side, but with the big reveal about their daughter Faith in Season 7, there's now room for the writers to lean into Claire's almost magical healing powers. That way, her ability to bring Jamie back won't seem completely out of nowhere. And here's where things get really interesting. Since Jamie's soul is briefly separated from his body during this near death, It could explain how his ghost appeared in the 20th century. Think about it. While he was technically dead, his spirit could have roamed freely through time and space. That would allow him to witness moments he was never alive to see, like Brianna growing up or Claire brushing her hair by the window in Inverness. So when Frank saw that mysterious Scot outside their window, it wasn't a random ghost story, it was Jamie's spirit, momentarily untethered, drawn to the night that set Claire's destiny in motion. It would also be deeply symbolic. That night in Inverness was the last evening Claire spent as an ordinary 20th century woman before stepping into the world that would bring her to Jamie. For his spirit to appear then, watching over her, creates a kind of full circle ending. It ties Jamie and Claire's story together in a way that feels both romantic and haunting. And once Claire revives him, Jamie could even tell her about the visions he had while he was gone, including the moment when he watched her from the future. Of course, this isn't the only path the show could take. There are other possibilities that might explain Jamie's ghost, because Outlander has already hinted that Jamie has unusual abilities beyond the ordinary. Through his dreams, he's been able to see moments he wasn't physically present for, like glimpses of Brianna's childhood. That almost feels like astral projection, which could be another explanation the show leans on. Maybe the ghost was just a projection of Jamie's spirit, not tied to death at all, but to some unconscious ability he never fully understood. It's less dramatic than tying it to his near death, but it would still fit within the show's established world. And then, of course, there's the possibility that the series simply avoids answering the question altogether. Gabaldon has said she's saving the mystery for her final book, so the writers at Starz may decide not to step on her toes. They might prefer to leave that part unresolved, letting Gabaldon deliver the definitive explanation later. But honestly, given how central the ghost has been since the very beginning, it would feel strange for the show to end without addressing it at all. Fans have been waiting over 30 years, and skipping the answer might feel like a letdown. Still, even if the TV version does tackle it, the explanation likely won't match Gabaldon's books. In Go Tell the Bees That I Am Gone, Claire heals Jamie, but there's no big revelation about him visiting the future in spirit. That's why many believe the show might take creative liberties here. It wouldn't be the first time either. Remember the Faith twist from Season 7? That was something created specifically for the series, and it gave the story a fresh angle. A similar approach could work with Jamie's ghost. It may not line up with Gabaldon's eventual book explanation, but it could give the TV adaptation the satisfying sense of closure it needs. And honestly, that might be the best option for everyone. Fans get an emotionally resonant ending that ties up the ghost mystery, while Gabaldon still gets to unveil her own version when Book 10 finally comes out. Both explanations can coexist, giving us two different but meaningful takes on the same story. So when you step back and look at it, Season 8 seems poised to use Jamie's temporary death as the perfect opportunity to explain his ghost. It would connect the earliest mystery of the series with its final chapter, giving the story a poetic symmetry. Even though it might not match the books exactly, it would still feel like the kind of ending that honors Jamie and Claire's epic love story. Because, after all, Outlander has always been about more than just battles and time travel. It's been about two people whose love defies everything, even death itself. And that's that for today's video, folks. Thank you so much for watching our video today, and we will see you in the next one. And don't forget to like this video, share it with your family and with your friends, and subscribe to our channel to stay in the loop. And if you want, you can share your thoughts about this video in the comments section down below.